Hi everyone, I'm Matthew Alor. Welcome to your MCE practice exam session where we'll tackle questions just like the real exam. I'll guide you step by step so you can practice, improve, and boost your confidence. Stay focused, follow along, and let's get the exam ready together. So let's dive in. The 21 CRD self-regulation rubric is shown in the following table. Level rubric. The prerequisites for self-regulation are not in place. Learning activity is not long-term, or students do not have both learning goals and associated success criteria in advance of completing their work. Learning activity level 2, the learning activity is long term and students do not or do have learning goals and associated success criteria in advance of completing their work, but students do not have the opportunity to plan their own work. Level 3. The learning activity is long term and students do have learning goals and associated success criteria in advance of completing their work, and students do have the opportunity to plan their own work, but students do not have the opportunity to revise their work based on feedback. The learning activity is long term and students do have learning goals and associated success criteria in advance of completing their work, and students do have the opportunity to plan their own work, and students do have the opportunity to revise their work based on feedback. For each of the following scenarios, select yes if the learning activity facilitates self-regulation at level 4 of the 21 the learning activity rubric, otherwise select no. Okay, in self-regulation, students take charge of their own learning, so they are like the bosses of their own learning or education. So students set goals for what they want to learn, they plan how to achieve those goals, they track their progress and check how they are doing. They reflect on what is all working and what is not, so they adjust their approach to get better results. So this is what happen in self-regulation, and what this does, the importance of it is just that it helps the student to become independent learner. So it helps them to become independent learners. So let's look at this now. Home construction students are using AutoCAD design a house for a charitable organization as a service learning project. Students follow building standard required by the local government and incorporate it required requirements provided by the organization. Students organize into groups of 4 and select the components of the home they want to design. They schedule meetings with the organization's director to review the progress of the project and acquire sign-offs and feedback until the project is completed. Okay, let's say this follow level 4. So if the learning activity facilitate level 4, facilitate self-regulation at level 4 of the 21 CLD. So level 4 says the learning activity is long-term and students do have learning goals and associated success criteria in advance of completing their work, and students do have the opportunity to plan their work or their work, and students do have opportunity to revise their work based on feedback. Okay, this follow or facilitate self-regulation. The activity facilitates self-regulation at level 4. So select yes here. Biology students are given an assignment to select an order set to research, collect samples, write a report, and create a PowerPoint presentation to share with the class. Students are given 3 weeks to complete the project. They are provided with a grading rubric and examples of computer project. Okay, this one does not follow. This one does not facilitate self-regulation at level 4. So select no. So another one, we have physical students. Physical science students are organized into small groups for model rocket building project. For model rocket building project, students must use the materials provided to build their rocket, but they may design their rocket as they desire. Okay, no, this one does not facilitate. This learning activity does not facilitate self-regulation. So at level 4. So again, at the beginning of the term, political science students are instructed to choose a social issue to follow. They are to research the issue, follow its development, interview constituents from both sides, and write a end of an end of and write end of term paper, end of term paper, write an end of term paper on their findings. Students are provided with a grading rubric and an example paper. Students use Microsoft Word to create and submit a rough draft of the paper midterm. The instructor reviews the draft and provide feedback using the markup features in Microsoft Word. Okay, this also facilitates self-regulation at level 4 of the 21 CLD learning activity rubric. Okay, so all that is done. Correct. Archaeology students are assigned a project comparing world civilizations during the Bronze Age. Students are to write a short narrative and create a diorama that illustrates what life was like at that time in their assigned area of the world. The educator provides students with a grading rubric and makes the project due in 4 weeks, which through modification would enable the learning activity to meet the requirements of level 4 according to the 21 CLD rubric for self-regulation choose 2. So in level 4, the students, they are just like they are basically self-regulating professionals. So at this level 4, it's like a master level. They are independently setting uh, goals and adjusting goals. So students know what they want to achieve, and they make changes to whatever things that they are doing. So critically, they evaluate progress. They deeply reflect on their work and identify areas for improvement. So this level, they already take ownership. They take ownership. They are proactive. They are motivated. They are motivated, and they drive their own learning. So let's look at this one after the other. So the first one, the educator is available to provide feedback throughout the 4 weeks or throughout the 4 week period. A draft version of the report will be available. A draft version of the report will be reviewed 1 week before the project deadline. Okay, so which two modification will enable the learning activity to meet the requirement of level 4 according to 21 CLD rubric for self-regulation. Okay, this should enable them to meet requirement of level 4. Then let's look at this. Students can choose to form a team or work individually. If in a team, each member is expected to participate equally. No, students are randomly assigned into teams or of three. Into teams of 3. You assign tasks to each team by providing Microsoft OneNote notebook with due dates. Students track task completion by updating the OneNote document and submitting it each week to the educator. No. So students identify tasks for each team member to perform and document it in Microsoft OneNote. Students decide to extend the project deadline to 6 weeks. No. Students can choose to work in teams of 2 or 4 members. The team will select the civilization to study and assign tasks equally among members. The role of each team member and their task progress will be tracked on an Excel worksheet. Okay, this will enable the learning activity to meet the requirement of level 4 according to 21C LD rubric for self-regulation. So that is at this point, the students they are self-regulating professionals. So they independently set and adjust goals. So they know what they want to achieve and they make changes. So these two learning activities meet the requirement of level 4 according to 21 CID rubric. Okay, okay, correct. You teach senior level high school horticulture course. Your students were recently certified by the county as master gardeners. Your students have requested to help the local community by offering their expertise. Beginning gardeners, they divide themselves into team or six and distribute flyers advertising their free consulting services. You establish learning goals for your students and provide them with a rubric for grading their work at the end of the semester. Which two learning activities provide an opportunity for self-regulation according to level 4 of the 21 CLD self-regulation rubric? Choose two. So in at level 4 of the 21 CLD self-regulation, students don't need much, much guidance. They are self-directed. So they continuously improve and refine their work. They apply learning strategies in new contexts. So they show high level of autonomy and confidence. So let's look at this one after the other. So you require the student to use ICT in their consulting services? No. The students team schedule meeting with teachers of other subjects or request interdisciplinary support? No. Students design their consulting task to be interdependent? No. When beginning gardeners, when beginning gardeners make contact, the students distribute the consulting services among the teams and the teams delegate work equally to their members. Yes. Okay, this will provide an opportunity for self-regulation according to level 4 of the 21 CLD self-regulation rubric. Okay, let's look at the last one. You meet with each student team regularly to follow their progress and provide suggestions for improvement. Yes. Okay, so that is done. Okay, correct. Which statement is required at level 4 of the 21 CLD self-regulation rubric? Students must have the opportunity to revise their work based on reliable feedback. A fundamental requirement of the main activity is to have learning goals. During the learning activity, students plan their work. Students plan their own work. Okay, that's correct. Correct.
Well done. You've completed this MC practice exam session. Keep practicing and stay exam ready. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the bell for more sessions. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.